Welcome to this second session about automated driving, where I will talk about comfort, perceived safety and trust in automation. I'm Rinder Happe, Associate Professor at Delft University of Technology, where I investigate the human interaction with automated vehicles. Learning objectives are: will we use the automated driving time for work or leisure? Will we feel safe? And how to create high motion comfort levels. In 2015, by means of an internet survey, we asked the public whether they wanted automated vehicles and what they wanted to do in those vehicles. And the responses were highly positive. People were really begeisterd about automated driving, with some people even willing to pay $30,000 extra for automated driving. Of course, there were also concerns with safety, hacking, cybersecurity, and these are all justified and important, and still to be addressed. But we also asked people what they wanted to do when having automation. And we asked those questions for manual driving, for SAE level 2, which is automation where you still have to keep the eyes on the road to ensure safety, SAE level 3, where you're allowed to take the eyes off the road, but you have to be ready to take back control when requested, and levels 4 and 5, where you can fully trust on the automation to deal with every scenario. And we saw that with the increasing automation levels, people wanted to engage more in resting. They wanted to still listen to the radio. They wanted to do more phoning, which is of course already legal even during manual or level 2 driving. But they also wanted to do things which are not yet legal, requiring you to take the eyes off the road, such as watching movies, reading, and we saw alarmingly that people already indicated that they wanted to do that during manual driving in dark blue and during level 2 driving in light blue. And that's actually what we see on the road today. We see a lot of phone misuse in driving, where people are texting, doing their WhatsApp, looking at the internet while driving in a manually driven car or in a level 2 car, which is unsafe and illegal. Of course, we also see that with the higher automation levels 3, 4 and 5, that people increasingly want to engage in eyes-off-road activities. And that's what I will talk about later, creating a challenge in feeling safe and feeling comfortable. And many other activities people do want to engage in when using automation, which ideally also shall be accommodated by the vehicle interior design. So the first question is, will we feel safe? Do we trust automation, taking the eyes off the road with increasing speed, close encounters with other road users, not even having steer and pedals? And the remedies are an intuitive driving style, interfaces displaying perception and action, and a supervisory control room, in particular for driverless vehicles where there is no longer a human operator on board. And our research approach is to investigate perceived safety in critical encounters, develop models of perceived safety, such that the designers of the automated vehicles can design the controllers such that they behave in a way that we feel safe, like keeping a proper distance to other road users. And that's what we investigated in this driving simulator study, where we were simulating monitoring automation, so drivers were instructed to watch the road, but the automation dealt perfectly with all situations, and we asked the participants whether they felt safe and whether they trusted the automation. And as expected, we found that in critical events, when other cars came very close, the situation didn't result in accident, but the proximity was unusual, that there was a drop in perceived safety and trust. And from those kind of observations, we can develop the models helping to design the vehicle control strategies. The next challenge is motion comfort and motion sickness. And all of you may have been sick in cars. Not everyone gets sick, but many people get sick when being driven, and in particular when they take the eyes off the road. And that's exactly what we expect people to do and what consumers expect to do when having these level 3 or higher automation levels, because they want to engage in those eyes-off-road activities. The remedies are a smooth driving style, similar of course to the driving style which will make us feel safe. but also to change the visual context and the computer integration. There are like studies where showing some sort of the motion of the outside world on a computer screen helped to prevent motion sickness to users of computer systems in cars. Seating is also very important because we need to properly support the body when being driven. Our research approach is to investigate motion sickness and comfort, to develop models of comfort, motion perception and posture maintenance, which again will help the designer of the automated vehicle to create comfortable motion strategies. So that's outlined on this graph, where we see that models of the environment, the road paths and the surface and other vehicles can be combined with models of the vehicle and the automation, the control algorithms. This results in vehicle motions. Then we use models of the human body and the seat interaction to predict the body motion, the hand motion when we operate devices, but also the head motion, because the head motion is essential for motion sickness and motion discomfort. And then with models of sensory integration, of how we perceive the motion in the world, we predict sensory conflicts, which we believe are the cue and the cause of motion sickness in cars. And here on the right-hand side, you see a graph of measured motion sickness in time, where we see a steep increase when we're driving, we see a drop when we stop driving, we see an even steeper increase when we drive again, and our models are now able to capture those kind of sickness developments and thereby helpful in the vehicle design. And this model of motion sickness was here validated on a sickening drive with our Prius experimental vehicle at the TU Delft. So we closed the road and we performed a slalom at 0.2 Hertz, which is exactly a frequency where people are most susceptible to motion sickness. And we drove for 30 minutes or until people asked us to stop because their sickness reached a level close to vomiting. And what we found was that there was more sickness indeed with internal vision, but also that we could model the development of sickness in time with the graph, which I already showed on the previous slide. So perceived safety and comfort can be modeled. And these kind of models can be then used in the design of the automation, as you can see on the right-hand side, in pass control, speed control, when to slow down before the corner, such that we have a proper compromise between feeling safe, feeling comfortable, but also traffic efficiency. Because if we slow down too much, of course the motion comfort will improve, but we will be slowing down traffic, delaying our own commute, but also creating annoyance with other drivers, thereby hampering the acceptance of automated driving. And this will help to have comfortable car following, lane changes and interaction with other road users. We can not only control the vehicle path, but also the vehicle vertical motion and roll and pitch using active suspensions, which I think is very promising. There have been done studies where using active suspensions while people were eyes off-road, they no longer felt the lane change. They were no longer aware of those motions and were not discomforted by the vehicle motions. Likewise, we will use this knowledge in workspace design to develop innovative seats and personal devices, allowing us to do what we want to do. So to recap, consumers wish to engage in various non-driving tasks. Perceived safety and trust require intuitive interactions, and motion comfort requires smooth driving styles. Thank you.